Right, so Pav, hello and welcome to the Play for the Dragon podcast. Wales music sport, definitely not always in that order because I got it wrong that time. We are just going to go through Wales's first two group games today, and Switzerland and Turkey, two varying results to talk about, shall we say. Lewis is back this week as well, and we've got a guest on as well, Alessandro. Thank you very much for joining us. How are you, mate?
Having me, it's great. Yeah, happy to talk about football all day. So yeah, let's go.
Mate, you've just been playing as well, so fair play. I'd be
if I'm not
absolutely
playing
shattered.
it, I'm not watching it. I'm talking about it. So yeah.
I played Sunday League once in like about 2 years, and honestly, we played one. Well, I expected to show up as a sub, played 90 minutes, and I was out of commission for about 6 days after I could barely walk. So fair play, mate, doing this.
Well, that's how you used to be after hockey, weren't it, mine as well?
Shut up! I was a defender, mate. I didn't do much running.
No, you just let the ball go through your legs and then run after it.
Shut up, mate. You're getting cocky, so I'm always going to come to you last today. So you've put yourself down the order. Well done. How are you, Sam? How are you feeling? How's the hangover after the Turkey game?
Not too bad, mate. I've had a long day in work about it as well. So I'm a bit knackered, but I'm just, still so over the moon, still riding the high of that game for sure. So
you're right, man. So
yeah, it's been a mental 24 hours, isn't it? I didn't expect it at all. The way it happened, I thought, I don't know what I thought, but I'm just so happy with the way things have turned out and everything. With Switzerland losing so heavily as well to Italy, and us putting in such a massive shift against Turkey, I'm just over the moon. Couldn't dream it, could you?
No, really, it's shaping up really well again this year. 2 group games, we've got 4 points. I think if we just talk about the Switzerland result quickly, because it was 1-1, didn't necessarily play that well, and I think everyone's been honest and said we probably didn't deserve a point, but we got it. I think we're really becoming, and I think that game, and especially the Turkey game, showed it a very difficult side to beat now, especially in tournament football. And what was everyone's initial thoughts after the Switzerland game? Should we go to Lewis first, since I've already ostracised you once?
Yeah. Original thought of the Switzerland game. I actually thought we still had a chance against Turkey, and this is more because Italy destroyed them. It was like 3-0 on the opening day. Turkey, in my opinion, didn't actually look very, I don't know what the word is to describe, very...
They look
I can't think of the word. Very, just like half decent, wanting to play forward. They sort of just looked like they were there just to sit back and hold. Still trying to think of the word, but hey. So when we drew, obviously through watching Wales qualifiers, etc., friendlies, I know sort of how Wales will play, and I know Switzerland are a good team. There's no denying that they're a good team, and in my opinion, I think we did very well to get a point from the start. And I think the most important thing from that game was do not lose, because like you can see the position we're in now, 4 points, potentially a third place finish guarantee. We're not too sure on that, but the way things are looking, we could get second place depending on how Italy and Switzerland get on against us with goal difference. But once we drew against Switzerland, I was sort of like, okay, we've finished on a high, that's great. The initial performance, in my opinion, was quite bad. It was a lot of just route one, smack it up.
We were dead lucky, I think. Yeah,
give the ball to Danny James, exactly, and then just run forward. Some of you'll appreciate that one, mate.
Danny James.
So yeah, I've been dying to get that one out, but so yeah, when I saw it was 1-0, I thought we ended on high, which was good. And overall performance was bad, but I thought after seeing Italy absolutely destroy Turkey, I thought we're probably better than them. I thought they were quite weak defensively, and I thought if we can click, which we can do, we can cause trouble, and we did in the second game.
I couldn't agree more. I think the first game against Switzerland, it was one of the most tense games of football I've watched in ages as a Welsh fan. I think any other fan watching it would be like, "Oh, this is just a shite game." but for me, I was like biting. I barely got any nails left on my fingers. It was horrible. I didn't enjoy it at all.
I was in my room, sat on my bed, literally just staring at it with like my hands crossed, just like, "Don't talk to me." Rachel's in the room, and I'm there just like, "Don't talk to me." Yeah, I'm focused on this game.
But I mean,
So I was in that exact same position as Lewis, sort of hunched over the sofa, but I was also smashed, and Ella was a bit annoyed at me for getting so drunk early in the day. So, you know, and
Wales
she's
is
also,
loud.
why are you so invested in a game of football? Come on.
It's
Yeah.
technically Wales away, you know.
So we should have been there. So, you know, I've got to make up for it.
But I thought with the Switzerland game, you know, we were our own worst enemy tactically. I think we got it a bit wrong. We sat so deep. We gave Switzerland so much respect. I think I was one of the people I think that definitely underestimated Switzerland coming into the group. You know, I hadn't really done my homework on them and everything, and having watched them, the way that they bossed the possession against us, you know, we just couldn't get a snip at them. You know, we couldn't get anywhere near them. They were just, you know, passing it around us as if we weren't there. And
I think that's sorry.
No, go ahead, boy.
Do you think that's nerves as well? Like the players felt the nerves because like the first big game in the Euros, you felt it at home, obviously. You know, it looked like they weren't too confident, like in their abilities. And obviously there's so much ability in the team. I honestly believe that. I mean, there's ability in every team now, isn't there? Like, you know, somewhere, you know, even Scotland tomorrow, they've got some decent players, but that's a different podcast. But yeah, so do you think that kind of was what, because the difference again between yesterday and the Switzerland game was like ridiculous.
Yeah, I think you're right, mate. I think they've gone in it far too cautious, and I think you're probably right, nervous as well. I mean, you compare, you know, look back at the Euro 2016 squad. There's very few people that have been there and done it. You know, Gareth Bale, Aaron Ramsey, Hennessy, but he wasn't even playing. You know, Gunter's on the bench. I'm trying to think, Joe Allen as well, of course. But the rest of the lads, it's their first time on an international stage, and you know, one of the most amazing things and the worst things about Wales as well is that, you know, we'll have a player playing for Juventus, a player playing for Real Madrid, and then you've got Joe Morel playing for Luton Town in the centre. You know, so I mean, you can't begrudge maybe them feeling the weight of the event, but I think you're right. I think once Kiefer Moore got that opening goal for us, I think the change was immediate. You could see us, you know, sort of getting further forward, not sitting so deep, pressing a bit higher and everything. And I feel like towards the end of the game, we went for it. Like Lewis was saying, I think we ended the game on a high, and we ended up, you know, showing what we could possibly do, and that's got to have filled the lads full of confidence for the Turkey game, especially like you guys were saying as well, the way how badly Turkey played against France. I think France against Italy. Both blue.
I think an issue as well. Sorry, I was going to say, I think the issue as well, maybe nerves. You know, you're always going to get that in the first game of an international tournament, but compared to 2016, you know, probably absolutely no expectations from the fans and maybe from the players.
Is that the
players
case?
Are always going to want to do well at the tournament. You know, we're just going into that saying if we score a goal in 3 games, we'll be happy with that, and we'll take that as a memory to, you know, go in with. And you know, people are quietly saying this year, okay, we've got a good crop of young players coming through. Bale's in really good form, coming off his 20 games, however many he played for Spurs, not starting the first half of the bloody season. Ramsey's always going to offer you that thing that he did for Arsenal, sort of playing in between the lines and making those deep runs into the box. I think in the Switzerland game, like first 5 or 10 minutes, we started quite well. We sort of came out the traps a bit better, sort of pressing. Dan James was looking really lively, getting in behind. I was a bit shocked he got taken off, to be honest. Maybe, you know, they're resting him because they're wanting to start him in all 3 games. But yeah, there was just too big a gap between the midfield and the forward line. Because, you know, like you said, we were playing route one, ball up to Kiefer Moore. Then there's no one coming in behind when he's winning those knockdowns. And, you know, you can't expect him to sort of win the header, hold the ball up and wait 5 seconds for sort of Ramsey and Allen to arrive. But, you know, I think we just gave them a bit too much respect and too much time and space on the ball. They grew into the game and came out, scored early second half. That's, you know, put us on the back foot, and we did well to come back and earn a draw.
I'll be honest, I would give some sort of credit to Switzerland because, like you said, first 20 minutes, we were doing quite well. And one thing, what we said is we've gone over it, or we played bad. Actually, the first 20 minutes, we were showing we could play. Then Switzerland changed to a high press, which no one sort of explained, is they changed the way they pressed. And as soon as our defenders got the ball, they went bang and straight on us. And we struggled to cope with this. And it sort of showed if another team does that, we're going to struggle.
definitely.
So yes, I would give a little bit of credit to Switzerland. They tactically changed.
No, it was
correctly
forcing
and
mistakes because a lot of the first passes weren't getting through, or they were sort of lumping long balls out for throw-ins, losing possession. That really sort of put a spanner in the works for the system Page was trying to play. And I don't know if he really switched it up that much, or if we just got a lucky set piece routine that went off. As they do sometimes. Straight off the training ground. But
I would also say that. Yeah, I just would also say that. Obviously, for Wales, it's good to get a point, and for Italy as well, like yesterday. But being cautious, like Switzerland don't score goals. They just don't score goals. And, maybe another team would have, I hate to say this, I've been being a bit provocative here, maybe would have punished Wales a bit sooner.
Yes.
Definitely.
And they could have scored maybe one goal yesterday, opened it up a bit sooner, who knows. But yeah, I think Switzerland not probably the test. I think yesterday Turkey was also like a bit different. We'll speak about it in a second, I guess. But yeah, you can't really see Switzerland actually scoring the goals. They had a high press, as you said. They did switch it up. And they can keep the ball pretty well, actually, but they've got nothing to do with it. Seferovic I think he's a decent striker. I honestly think he's got decent movement, but little service. Yeah.
That's what scares me, though, is, like Mbolo looks so dangerous against us. He looks so dangerous. Every time I got the ball, I had my heads in my hands, But then you watch a game against Italy and, they were absolutely mute against Italy. They had nothing.
What do you think the difference was then, like between how Italy contained Mbolo and Wales struggled to deal with him?
I think with Wales, our biggest mistake when it came to the Switzerland attack was how the difference between the big gap we had between the defense and the midfield. So Mbolo was getting the ball in the pocket just behind the midfield. Our defense was so deep that he had so much time to run, and he's a big lad, he's a strong lad. He can throw himself around a bit. So he had all of that momentum running towards us, and you've got someone like Chris Meppen, who is a decent championship quality defender, maybe, but he's a hothead at times. He got sent off in the playoffs.
I saw yesterday as well.
And he's got it in him to, he's a shirt taker, and all this, and I think that really made Mbolo look good because he had all the time in the world to charge at them. Whereas in Italy, completely, that there were none of those gaps in the play. I think what I was expecting coming into the Turkey game for him to change the midfield around more than anything. I thought he'd put in Ampadu for Morel or something like that, just to plug in those gaps, because there were huge gaps in between the defence and the midfield.
I think one thing as well that I noticed from Italy is like they've got people who are calmer on the ball.
Yeah.
In general, I think we've still, like what we said, there's a difference from Real, Juve to Luton. And there's no offence to the teams, like they're all good in a way. But the quality of the pass, the quality of the touch. There was one instance where even Bale messed it up. Oh, was it Bale?
Yeah.
Bale had a poor touch and could have, all he needed was open and birdie up and shoot. It's those sort of things that sort of go, whereas Italy have got it. Okay, I've just mentioned Bale, but it's that level of quality throughout the whole team. In my opinion, with Italy, it's there. Or it's.
I was surprised by it, and a lot of Italians are surprised by it, like because they back themselves to like pass themselves out of like a tough situation from the goalie. Like they had like 5 minutes yesterday where Switzerland was pressing really high, probably after the pep talk in the changing rooms. But literally, they just passed them like out of, and then they kind of counter-attacked, and that's kind of that kind of broke.
Another thing as well with Italy is when they go forward, they've got some players who want to generally dribble at people. Like Wales do have that with James and Bale, but when you notice it when it's Italy, as soon as they get the ball, it's like, right, let's get at these fullbacks. Let's sort of make them go and start thinking, do I go to that ball or do I have to drop? Which one is it? And try and make them almost make a mistake. That's one big difference I've noticed anyways, where I find Wales sort of want to go there, but whether we're too slow doing it or we're getting too minds of, do we pass that way or so we just bomb it, or is it too closed gap for us to run behind the lines?
Yeah. And I think the numbers going forward, like you've obviously got Aaron Ramsey, who's like one of the best at making those runs between defenders, last minute, last second. But Italy maybe got 3 of those players doing the same thing.
Sure. Yeah.
And that can't be, you can't track that if you're a defender, right? Yeah. One of them is going to be free, like yesterday it was, So, I'm just actually curious, what what do you think that, like, do you worry in a sense that Wales is a bit over reliant on this Bale-Ramsey partnership? I mean, obviously there's more to it than that because it's obviously a big team this year. Like, it's kind of got a team spirit, but there is those moments change the game. Like yesterday, you know, with 3-4 occasions where Ramsey could have scored off Bale's incredible touch.
We'll notice when they're gone. Let's say that.
Yeah.
We're going to notice when they're gone. Whether we will drop a level, I think that's certain, because those two are just huge for us, in the sense that they practically do everything, or in ways. They are just so big in everything we do, the way we go forward, the way we defend. It's just the leadership on the pitch. There's so much you can take into consideration. So when they lose, when they do go, it's just a question of who's going to step up. So yes, I think we'll drop a level, but I don't think performances may suffer too bad.
I think
I'm probably going to be wrong, but hey, let's see.
When Bale and Ramsey play well, Wales win. You know, at the end of the day, because of their shocking injury records, we've sort of had to get used to life without them in some ways. Like, we qualified for the Euros pretty much without Ramsey the entire time. He came back and he scored 2 really important goals against Hungary to get us into the tournament. But I mean, we've barely seen him, and you know, it caused a bit of a headache for us going into the tournament because it's like, well, what do we do with Ramsey now that he's back? Because we got so used to him not being there. You know? So
as if that was ever an argument.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think, you know, if you look at the 2016 era, you know, that's definitely the best squad we probably ever had. But it was so thin, you know. In the game against Portugal, we had Ben Davies and Aaron Ramsey suspended, and we lost because of them. Basically, if we had Ben Davies and Ramsey on the field, I'm not saying that we won, but we would have definitely, you know, held a torch at least against Portugal. But now, you know, you look at the bench, you've got the people we got to come on. Ampadu came on out of his skin yesterday. Nico Williams is a really great attacking fullback, could look to go into more attacking roles in the future, like as Bale did. You've got all sorts. So, I mean, and as well, you know, there's some real strong characters coming through at the moment. Like Joe Rodon, I think everybody's in agreement. He's a future Wales captain. He's great.
He looks like that material, yeah.
I really hope he gets the time at Spurs, you know, because he definitely deserves it. And I think he could really make a big name for himself in the season coming in the Prem. But I don't know. For me, I worry less and less about the whole Bale-Ramsey situation. Ramsey because we barely see him play anymore. And Bale because, well, I mean, Bale has been quiet for us for the last year or so. I mean, if you look at the qualifiers, he wasn't even close to being our top goal scorer, you know. He's but at the same time, you know, when you've got a player like that who can pull out 2 unbelievable assists the way he did yesterday, it's just it's unthinkable.
Yeah, you almost can't teach that, can you? Yeah,
100%. Yeah,
got that in his locker. I was impressed by Ampadu that you mentioned. I didn't actually know the guy, to be honest with you guys, but yeah, I mean, he only played 10 minutes.
Yeah,
but just like very good positioning, like really reads the game well, and he's probably 18, 19, maybe? Just a bit older.
Something like that, yeah. He's had a few loan spells because he's one of these, you know, this breed of footballer that just plays for Chelsea youth and just goes around the world, and that's it. He went to Leipzig and then he went to Sheffield United, and obviously Sheffield United have had an awful career. But I thought Ampadu sort of held his head up high during this season, despite how bad it's been. And he was being played as a centre back as well, and everybody in Wales no doubt sees him as a holding defender, you know.
Yeah.
And he's a tough lad as well, you know. He likes a bit of handbags, you know. Yeah. And we like that, you know. We like a bit of it. I remember when I went to go watch Wales against Denmark in the Nations League a couple of years ago, and he came on again as a sub towards the end. And he had like this, I don't remember who it was, but someone had a couple of nibbles at him and everything. And he was up in their face, and I was like, this lad's like 17, you know.
But he's one of those 17-year-olds that you wouldn't,
proper, yeah. So yeah, I'm shocked actually that we haven't started him. You know, it's unfortunate for him because he's come into the tournament in bad form. But I mean, Ampadu, if you said this time last year that Ampadu wasn't our, you know, nailed on holding midfielder, then I wouldn't have believed it, you know.
And I'm just going to throw some names at you just to get your reactions, because Joe Allen, I hadn't seen him play in 5 years. I thought he'd retired. Like, I had no idea where he was playing. To be completely honest, but he's class. He's just like a
He
little.
is a great ball player.
He's the Welsh Pirlo, isn't he? The Welsh
Yeah,
Pirlo.
mini Pirlo. Yeah. I mean, mini
Absolute
'cause he's quite
masterclass
small.
yesterday.
Mate, Alan, unbelievable guy. I mean, he's another. You know, it reminds me Alan this year of Joe Ledley in the last year.
Yeah.
It was like he's been out the entire season injured. He's come back, and you know he's just monumental for us.
Where does he play?
Stoke.
Oh, he's still at Stoke.
He's
Yeah.
still at Stoke, but he's missed like a year and a half of football from doing his. What was it?
And then,
He did
I don't know, but then when he came back, he got injured again.
again.
Like, near enough
Right.
straight after, weren't it?
I was going to miss the tournament before it was rearranged, wasn't he? So
Yeah.
it's a good job they had to
Good-
push
good-
it back
good
a
one-
year,
good one
maybe.
for us.
All
Nice
fell
one,
into
yeah.
place. But
Sorry, I've got a question for Ali here. With Italy, who do you think can start your like main partners in to make everything click? So like, who's that? Like, sort of is a leader or just one player, or is it, what do you reckon?
I think honestly, it's a weird one, but Jorginho, and I'll say that especially because I watched him a lot this year at Chelsea, and obviously with Kante, I thought, well, yeah, obviously anyone's good next to Kante, right? You know, it's easy, but honestly, he is, yeah, he obviously makes few mistakes. Obviously, there's like a Champions League mistake he made, back pass, but he's just like relentless. I think that's the thing. Like, and he's always literally just making the right pass, like the right idea, simple but always effective, and he's always in the right spot. And I think, you know, apparently they call him Radio Jorginho because like he's always talking. So yeah.
What's that mean? Nick?
He is a very good sort of
Radio.
he's very calm.
He's always chatting away.
Yeah, he's always a very calm footballer. Whenever he's got that ball, he seems very calm to just pass it.
Yeah,
whether it's forward, left, right, he's always calm.
I think
to play the pass.
He had
just looking at him, like you wouldn't back him really. Like he doesn't look like a modern footballer. He looks more like a 80s footballer, like with his build. I mean, right? But he's just smart. But I think now, honestly, I think Mancini, the manager, obviously that's a bit of a easy cop out for an answer, but I think he is like just 29 games unbeaten.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's down to the manager as well. It has to be, right?
I had it written down in my notes. It's if we don't score against Italy, it'll be over 1,000 minutes. Italy have gone without conceding.
1,000 minutes. God.
And that's what I think why Italy is scary. But that's always been the case for Italy. Like they've always been good at defending, right? But it was always usually route one. We had like a big man up top, like Toni or Gilardino, Iaquinta or whoever.
Gilardino.
But now, yeah, God, these old mate, yeah. But yeah, now it's like passing out of the your own box, and it's just quick. And what I noticed yesterday with Turkey, who obviously we've said like not a great team, not very well organized, at least this year. Literally, there was always one man free, and it reminded me a bit of like, maybe this is like exaggerating a little bit, but like how Guardiola plays. There's always an extra man, it seems, in midfield, and sometimes I thought the ball was just being chucked out, but it was actually reaching a blue shirt. And so, yeah, I think as a collective, I'm impressed this year. I'm biased, of course, but usually Italians are not very complimentary about how Italy play. We know that we usually play shit football, but we get the job done sometimes. But this year, we're actually excited by the style of play, which is something new.
Yeah. It's so interesting. It's interesting to say about Guardiola as well, because with Mancini, there's the Man City link, I suppose, as well, isn't it? So
could be, yeah. Actually, didn't think about that. Yeah.
It's very interesting. I like what you say about Jorginho as well, because I completely agree. I think he had a rough start to his career at Chelsea, didn't he? So I think he's overlooked a little bit from that.
Yeah.
And he's not really been given a fair crack at the whip from the fans and stuff. But I mean, he's unbelievable. And we could have done with Jorginho for that bloody penalty, couldn't we?
yeah. Well, exactly. Little hop, step, hop, little twist. Yeah.
I think the problem with Jorginho when he came to Chelsea, though, because it was Mauricio Sarri that bought him, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
He was. I think it was the year after Kante had come and won him the title, wasn't it? Or maybe 2 years after, something like that. But he was being played in that sort of sit-in role that they'd seen Kante, probably become the best player in the world in that possession at. So you're going to get criticism, but it's not really down to the player where you're being started on the field and the role you're being told to
No, it's
help to
true.
perform. So, but he is that sort of midfield player that's calm on the ball, makes the side tick with those little passes.
Yeah.
If you need those in the side, that, like you said, they are a bit of a throwback player, but I think for any team, especially in tournament football, when you do want to sort of keep the ball a bit more, so be a bit more reliant on possession, and that brings the forward players you've got into play as well, like Immobile and Insigne as well. They've been absolutely fantastic from what I've seen so far, and they are those sort of quick players that can get in behind and hurt you. They're really technical, good footwork, good dribbling, good range of shooting as well. So especially in a tournament environment, you're going to get goals from those type of players. And was there a thing with Ciro Immobile that he hadn't scored at a tournament until the game last Friday? Because I think he'd scored quite a lot for Italy, but never at a major tournament. Or have I just heard that?
Well, no, has he been in 2? Maybe.
I think he has, but he scored in these 2 games. But I thought I'd heard a stat where he hadn't scored like a World Cup or a Euro.
Seriously?
I didn't realise that.
I think so. If someone wants to fact check that might be. But he scored 40 odd goals for Italy in like qualifiers, friendlies.
And never scored in the tournament.
So until this one, supposedly, that might be. Don't quote me on that. But
I'm backing you on that one, Martin. I've heard that as well.
I thought that was surprising for a player of his quality, because he gets good 20, 30 goals a season.
Don't forget, though, sorry to bring this up, Al. Italy didn't make the 2016 Euros, did they? See you later, boys.
He's off. He's going to go and write some comebacks down.
I've got a list here, mate.
The thing about Italy, the thing I really like about Italy at the moment as well, is it seems like in their team, it's a real spread of different like club teams as well. Like there's no monopoly or anything. You've got players from Sampdoria, from
Sassuolo.
It's
which is like a little village town, and it's doing so great. Yeah, I mean, Locatelli, Berardi, these are clearly now top players, but
I think Locatelli so far is probably the player of the tournament, isn't he? So far, I mean,
he's playing really well.
Yeah, he's impressive, isn't he? Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. But who do you think? The same question. Who do you think it is for? Obviously, Joe Allen. We mentioned Joe Allen, but what do you think the strength is for Wales? Like the actual thing, apart from the obvious players, what is it? And my next question, a little side question to that: how did the Ryan Giggs affair, like that little thing, does that affect the team, or did it affect like hopes for the tournament, or the stability?
I think it was more uncertainty than anything, because it was getting to was it April when they announced that Rob Page was going to be in charge? But it was getting to January, February, March, and all this has been going on since November. And it's like, okay, we know what's happening, but who's going to lead the side in the summer? You can't really. You can just get Chris Gunter to jump in at last minute because he's the only one on the plane with a coaching license or something like.
It's almost been a good thing that as well, because it's not been like a sudden sort of
distraction as well. If Giggs was in charge at this point.
Yeah, it's been gradual, isn't it? Because Rob Page, I think you're right. He assumed full control, if you can call it that, in April. But he'd been bossing the team for quite a while before it. So it was sort of like, it was quite expected by the end of it. So I think the lads will have been all right. And Rob Page as well was working with the under-21 setup for a long time. Okay. And most of the players we've got right now have gone through the system. That's one of the things that's so good about this team and the team spirit, is the fact that they've spent their entire lives together, pretty much playing for the youth ranks and that. And of course, Rob Page has had a big part in that. So it's been quite seamless in that sense, I reckon. Ryan Giggs was still never the most popular figure
was he not?
Wales fans. No, he's never has been, because of the whole idea of when he played, he never used to play friendlies for us. Nobody ever.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why? On what grounds?
Exactly. Yeah.
He's seen as a Welsh legend, but I don't know what his caps are.
It'll be low, mate. It'll be low.
I think Bale's already overtook it.
Oh yeah, he's not.
Loads of people have overtook it, haven't they?
Giggs isn't in the top 10. He's not. We did this last week. I think Joe Ledley has got more caps than him. Dean Saunders got more caps than him.
It's amazing how you go and just think, oh, Wales, Ryan Giggs.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. He did a lot playing for us. When he played, he did well. There's no saying about that. By the way, we don't talk about Ryan Giggs on this. So,
all right. Okay. Well. Okay. I did not get the
it
memo,
doesn't
yeah.
matter. It doesn't matter. But no, like, I think he was.
Yeah,
Just
I didn't want to turn this into a Ryan Giggs thing at all. Yeah.
No, it's
No.
fine. It was an impact player.
Yeah.
Simple as that. When he played well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a quality player. Simple as.
But he goes down as a Welsh legend more because of what he did at United. All honesty, I think that's a fair assumption to say, and obviously how good he did play for Wales. But like we never got there, sort of thing. And
he was always a United. He was always a United player that played for Wales, not a Wales player who played for United. You know.
Yeah. Right. I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
And that's why. Sorry, man, I've cut you off.
No, that's all right.
That's one thing I think fans love about Bale and Ramsey, especially Bale, is it's Wales goal for Madrid, apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
In some aspects, but that sort of shows Wales is first, and they love playing for it. It's like I was having chatting work today. It's like it doesn't matter if they're playing with Luton or whoever they've got or any sort of team players. They play for Wales. They're your teammates, and we're going to show you how to play, and we're going to put a performance in together. It doesn't matter who they are. We're going to play with you.
I absolutely love that. I didn't obviously know all this backstory, but just seeing Bale playing with like Meepham or with other players, obviously like lower ranking players, but just great. And the pep talk he gave at the end when they won, like everybody circled round. I had never seen Bale. He's obviously a different kind of leader to others, but I never seen him with so much passion. Like talking about a win, like for Real Madrid, he didn't give a shit, did he? Just expecting to win,
out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's spot. I'd agree with that as well. Actually, he did the same after the Switzerland game. He got everyone in a circle. He was giving it the "we go again" business and that. But
oh no, we don't go again. We know what happened there, don't we, Sam? Liverpool.
Well, but.
No, you just don't say the word slip. That's the problem, though.
Oh, we can't say the word slip.
That was it. This does not slip. That was it, wasn't it? Gutted. But I think after the Turkey game, you could see it in his eyes, couldn't you? I mean, everything that he did during the Turkey game was a man possessed almost. I thought he was just unreal. He was all over the park, dribbling it in and like skinning like 4 players in like the last minute from a corner.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
And he missed a penalty, which I thought, is that going to play on his mind? Because this is a 1-0 lead and you needed that penalty to go in, right? I actually don't know his track record on penalties. At Real Madrid obviously couldn't take them.
Well, Rambo's our penalty taker. Like the last penalty we had was against Serbia, and it was a really important game. And Ramsey had a penalty, and he went for the Panenka. He scored it, thank God. But so I was really surprised that Rambo didn't take it, to be honest. And
I think it
as well, Kiefer Moore.
Whoever's confident at the time, if he's certain he's going to do it.
Kiefer Moore is our best penalty taker. You've seen his penalties for Cardiff. Oh, he's one of them that if the net wasn't there, it would cross the Bristol Channel.
Yeah.
I can imagine
go through the goal.
Take a couple of seats with it on the way out the stadium. Like
proper.
He's a big lad, isn't he? Yeah.
What big key.
The thing is with Bale now, though, I think that's his. Is it 12 games without scoring, or would this be 13 for him now? But even still, you can go bloody God knows how many games without scoring, but he still does change a game. He creates, I think,
assists,
3 or 4 or 5 meaningful chances. Yeah, 2 assists.
Could have got
I don't
5
know what
assists.
metric they use to it. Yeah. That's the thing. We're coming out of a 2-0 win thinking, we could have scored 4 or 5 if we'd have taken our chances a bit better. But I think that's just a testament to our improvement between the 2 games and how we actually sort of seized control and, actually grew into the game when we had it. And Turkey really sort of came at us in the second half. I'm sure Lewis and Sam were just as nervy as me and Jack were in the pub, sort of sinking deeper behind the table.
They had a moment. Yeah, they had a moment. Yeah.
Honestly,
Yilmaz. Was it from a corner?
Oh, yeah.
They had a few chances,
honestly, when I saw that go over, I literally just threw it back. I was like, oh my God, thank God that's gone over. That scared me.
That's true though, isn't it? But the thing is as well, like whereas in Switzerland, I was thinking they're going to score every single chance that we're going forward. Against Turkey, I felt so much more assured in our capability to just hold them back and everything. I mean, I think it comes down to Mepham that as well, because Rodon is Rodon. Rodon is a brick on legs, and he's fine. I trust Rodon 100%, but Mepham, dodgy. But against Turkey, didn't put a foot wrong.
I know. I was impressed by him as well. And honestly, like, I mean, 1 goal conceded in 2 games. You should be happy, I guess.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I
Might
think,
not score against Italy though. Yeah.
Well, I hope we do. Well, I don't know. Against Italy, it's what scared me the most against Italy, because Italy beat Turkey 3-0, we beat them 2-0, all right. But the way Switzerland were by far the better team against us, and then for Italy to go and just play them off the park and then some, that worries me a little bit. But I'm just glad.
Every game is a story. Sorry. Anyway, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right. But I mean, I feel like we can actually enjoy the Italy game now, because if it was, a must win, it wouldn't be good for my heart, but now we can, now we can just enjoy. We've got 4 points on the board. We're almost certainly, touch wood and that, we're almost certainly guaranteed at least a 3rd place finish, and or second if Switzerland don't destroy Turkey. So we can just sit back and enjoy it, because it's Wales coming up against probably the tournament favourite, or at least second favourite. See where we're at, innit? It's a good marker.
You're the
How do you think it's going to set up? How do you think? Sorry, Lewis.
No, I'm just saying I'm the complete opposite of Sam here, because in all honesty, I want a point off him. I want to guarantee 2nd place. I don't want 3rd place. I want 2nd.
This is surprising from you. I thought you'd be churning out that it's going to be 3-4-0 and we're going to change 6 of the players in the starting 11.
Yeah, a bit of context here. Lewis is like the most pessimistic
bloke.
He's used to watching Wrexham get trounced 1-0 to Bromley and have about half a shot on target. So
yeah, all right, come on.
But no, I'm the same, Lewis. I reckon we could give it a good run. I mean, but I'd love us to get a point out of it, and that's definitely the target, at least a point. We can't go out there thinking, it doesn't matter if we win or we don't. Definitely not. But at least we can enjoy it. If it doesn't go our way, we'll give a good performance. We'll give a
Go and enjoy Wales, mate. It's too stressful.
You can't. It's not part of the thing, is it?
Not part of football, no. You enjoy it afterwards.
If you're enjoying watching tournament football, there's something wrong with your team. Ali, I was just wondering, actually, do you reckon Mancini might rest any of the bigger players for this one, considering,
I think you will.
You're going to top the group. Let's be honest. You've already qualified. You're going to top the groups.
Yeah, guaranteed. Yeah. I think Belotti's going to definitely start, maybe instead of Immobile. Get a few other players in, but yeah.
Chiellini went off, didn't he? Chiellini went off injured.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I think, I hope, obviously it's me hoping more than thinking, but it might have just been a little something, maybe not too serious. The way he was like, the way he kind of
he knew.
But he's made a brick,
so hopefully.
But I wouldn't mind him not playing, to be honest. But saying that, I think I would pay good money to watch Kiefer Moore come up against Chiellini.
That would be a challenge, yeah.
That'd be great. That'd be a really
Yeah.
interesting crossover episode.
Yeah.
That would be a really big clash of,
Honestly, you can score. Like, I was just thinking about the matchups. Like, you've got obviously Daniel James, like, and he's got pace. He's got pace. I mean, it's incredible. But the thing is also about Daniel James, I don't know if you agree with me, but I watched him a little bit, this season with Man U. And at the start of the season, he was pretty shocking with his deliveries, but he must have been working on them, because, like, he's more often than not they're on the money. But yeah, I don't know if that's.
He's a big confidence player, Dan James.
Yeah,
he works on confidence, I think, and he's not liked at all at Man United. I think it's just because
no, he's not.
I think Man United are just a bit of a toxic club at the moment.
I think
many.
Sorry. I think Man United as well have such a high standard, because everyone knows the time under Ferguson and stuff. I think that you've got such a high standard. If you don't perform to it, you're not good enough. I think that's why it probably doesn't help, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'll never understand it with United, though, because when he came in, Dan James, they got him on the cheap. He was going to go to Leeds for like double the money at one point. And he came in and he made an immediate impact. Nobody expected him to start or anything. He was scoring loads in his first season, and then sort of trailed off as it went into to the end of his first season. He's come into the second season this year, and he's not had a good one. And you can see how it's affected him. And but he comes to Wales, and it feels like whenever he goes on a camp with Wales. When he goes back to United, he has a couple of games, he plays really well, and it fades again. So for me, it's all about confidence. But Dan James, like, It's just for me, considering both of the games, he's been our player of the tournament so far.
He's been amazing, honestly. Yeah, I really enjoyed watching him, and he could be a threat against Italy. I mean, Italy, like the Italian fullbacks are quite speedy as well, like Spinazzola, who's also, by the way, came out of nothing because no one knew him, but he's great. He's
wicked. I've got him in my fantasy league. I love him.
Spot on, yeah. But that could be a good matchup. But how do you think Wales are going to set up for the Italy game? So where do you see the goals coming from?
It's going to be the same lineup, same formation, same 11, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a back five in this one,
I don't know.
I wouldn't be too shocked to see a back five in this one, because
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, a few players I think he might rotate a few players. Ampadu probably wants a bit more game time. Yeah, Moore's on a yellow card, so you don't want him suspended for the.
Remember, those were not qualified, and this is what I think is. This is why we've got to sort of go for a draw almost. Is we've not qualified, and I would rather see us just do what we've done last 3 games, which I think he will do, rather than just we've got 4 points. We'll just see what we can go. I'd rather us just see what we can do.
You listen to Ashley Williams. Ashley Williams talking on the BBC recently, talking about the Euro 2016. He said, "Why did they do so well?" So because no matter who we played against, we played our game. We started the same 11 every single game nearly until we couldn't. And they, David Edwards came. I think David
Edwards David Edwards started the first game, didn't he? And Danny Ward.
Danny Ward did, but no, I mean, and then Jimmy Collins came in and everything as well.
For Portugal, it was Edwards and Collins.
So I fully back us to do the same thing again, and just no matter who we come up against, no matter what it is, we play our game. We play the same 11. We get the momentum going, and at the end of it, I don't think people expect us to play the same every game because we're a small nation. You expect the small nations to be the ones that make the changes, and I think it could play in our favour, just for mentality and everything. Because what do you
think about Italy? Do you reckon they'll change? Or we already said? Yeah, I think we already said this actually, didn't we?
I think they will just change. I think they'll play the same thing. But what I would actually add on that is that what I'm impressed by this year as well is that Italy never go on to score more than 1 goal or 2 goals. But the fact that they, even the 90th minute, 3-0 up, and you've got 6 points, whatever. It's still going for the 4th goal, and you can see Mancini. I mean, this is also everybody knows him for this, but he never smiles, right? And so he's always trying to get a bit more out of his players. I've not seen him celebrate a goal yet, to be honest. Like maybe a cheeky little kind of half like grimace, but yeah, I mean, and that kind of says a lot about what his expectations are, and I think that kind of works.
I heard a mad stat. I don't know if it's true that Italy before this tournament had never scored more than 2 goals in a game in a major tournament.
In a Euros, in a group stage,
in a group stage, is it? Well, well, there you go. There's twice
6 goals. I mean, it's a different team. It is a different team, and as I said, like obviously a bit biased, but we're very happy with it. No one knew really what was coming because also this is the thing. There's no superstar. We've always had a superstar, like always, like sometimes 2 or 3. And that could help because that's how we won the World Cup in 2006, Totti, Del Piero, and the rest of them. But this year it's like, so no superstar, you've got to work your socks off. And this is what they're doing really well.
Yeah, I love
quality and quantity.
I love that. Yeah.
I'm just wondering, Ali, in your opinion, like, how do you think this current Italy side compares to some of the other recent sides in tournaments? I mean, like you said, you look at that 2006 World Cup winning team. Absolutely slam full of stars. Nesta, what's the captain? Cannavaro. I think he was he nominated for
he won the Ballon d'Or.
Ballon d'Or that year. Yeah, that was it. That side was just absolutely terrifying, in my opinion. I think it's one of the I think it was like the sort of time we started properly watching and following football as well to see that team tear apart Zidane's France in the final. That was just fantastic. So I do think this current Mancini side rates sort of in like teams for the last 20 years.
Gonna be honest, like everybody in the 2006, like no one could say that we played nice, like good football, right? We won. I mean, even against Australia, it was like it's a dodgy penalty. Could have, we were actually kind of on the back foot with Australia, but got the penalty, and that's the quality, right? You've got Totti. Something's going to happen, you know. Even the final, to be honest with you, like France, like on the night, probably deserved to win. And this is obviously hard to say, but it's true. But I think quality-wise, I mean, but obviously Italy had, it's always had more desire to win than anything else. And we know how to suffer, like proper Catholic country, you know, just born with that desire to suffer. But yeah, and so, yeah, and always coming from, you know, from a difficult position. Again, obviously the Germany game, that was the big one in the semi-final. That was like the one where we stepped it up against a proper, really good team. But yeah, but apart from that game, we weren't really that good flowing football. But this year, honestly, I know it's 2 games on the back of other, you know, 27 previous non-defeats. But I'm excited. I think it's, as I said, no superstars, just very good football, a lot of pace and quality. And I think it's the one-touch thing that is impressive, because if you play quick football, you have to have the right players, right? And it's difficult to do, but I think this team definitely has that.
Does it worry you, the idea that, like, they always say, don't they, the team that starts best doesn't
Yeah, it
win?
does.
Yeah, does that worry you a bit?
Yeah, it does. And to be fair, we've not had and that's true, that's fair. I was listening to, who was it, Gary Neville yesterday, who was saying, you know, we've not had a proper test. Switzerland, sure, they seem to kind of be just happy to reach the group stages. Turkey, not really a team this year, at least not from what I've seen. Yeah, it'll be good to see them against, you know, France, obviously, maybe Portugal. I hate to say England, but probably even England. Yeah. Although I would back them against England. I think Italy have got a bit more.
I think it's better than England.
Definitely. I tell you what I love about Italy is the national anthem. It gets me going.
It's the passion, isn't it?
Yeah, it gets me going, the national anthem. I mean, we're pretty proud of our national anthem in Wales and stuff as well, because it's quite emotional. But Italy,
I saw that in the players. That was good, yeah.
But Italy's anthem, it just makes you want to get up and punch someone, doesn't it? So I'm a big fan of that. And you see the players, you know, they're like, you know, they've got their arms out, they're pulling at their shirts, getting goal. I think it was Bonucci, he was screaming.
Oh yeah, he was going mental. Yeah. And it's impossible, not to. I was watching it with a couple of English mates, and I was like, I'm not going to sing this like just on my own, whatever. But you know, it's difficult to kind of contain, because like, wow, this is, kind of goes through you, doesn't it?
Proper, I love it. I think outside of Wales, that's my favourite national anthem, the Italian.
Forgive my ignorance. Is the Welsh one sung in Welsh, or is it in
Welsh? Yeah.
It's something really important for a lot of people as well, because the Welsh football followers are like, there's a big Welsh speaking contingent, you know, because it's mainly from North Wales. It's always been like a bit of a north-south divide with the footy, where the north has always been footy, the south has been rugby.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know this. Okay.
I love it with Wales. When we do down from at home, we just cut it off.
Yeah, because it's always that
is
time
special when they just cut it off, and it's just like the fans just do your thing.
Oh, brilliant!
If you can do that, you know the fans and everyone's behind you.
Rely on them.
What I always love about
during the game as well, that Belgium game where we won 1-0, Gareth Bale from Marlin, the back pass.
It was from a corner, wasn't it? He got the second.
Yeah, he came out, and then one of the Belgian players headed it back, and Bale just happened to be there, and he was like, "Wow, goal, brilliant!"
Yeah,
but yeah, like that was the first time I think Welsh fans sung the anthem during the game, and that just it was amazing.
Well, happened at the Austria game that we all. You went to. I say this every time Q went sat with us, but we all went to it, didn't we? When Woodburn slammed that one in, was it 2017 qualifying for the World Cup?
Yeah, it's sort of come
the anthem was swelling up around the Cardiff City Stadium, and I don't know. It's like with I guess it's like the Liverpool fans singing. I guess like the Liverpool fans singing on Wednesday night in the Champions League, getting the players over the line. It's that relationship that I think you see between the players and the Red Wall. That's one of the most important things of us, for us, I should say, sorry. Even though there was 500 fans, 700 fans there yesterday, they made their presence known. People were talking loads going into it, like, oh, it's basically a home game for Turkey because there's a big Turkish contingent in Baku. They're quite close nations. I think they said before the game as well. that Turkey was the first country to recognise Azerbaijan as an independent state.
And they've got that. I realise they've got the Turkish flag
yeah.
almost like
Oh,
stuck.
Present and moon,
yeah, exactly.
Present and stars.
But, you know, I think I said it earlier, we're just becoming a really difficult team to beat in tournaments. And, you know, we know our strongest lineup. We have those elite players that can turn the game like Bale and Ramsey did yesterday.
Really?
But we have that core of youth coming through now that we maybe didn't have as much years ago. And we do have a few more options, especially in the sort of attacking positions, wingers, well, not strikers, obviously, because we've taken one to the tournament. But, you know, we've got an abundance of wingers, sort of people who can slot in like those creative midfield roles.
Is that true? Is Kiefer Moore the only striker you've got now?
The only
recognised striker.
You've got Tyler Roberts, but we don't know where he plays.
Right.
Bielsa's played them more as like a central midfielder, sort of forward midfielder this year.
I was impressed also by the guy who scored. Sorry, guys, I forget his name. The guy who scored the second goal.
Connor Roberts.
Connor Roberts, yeah, of course, yeah. He put a shift in. Yeah.
He's a machine. He's one of the fittest footballers in the UK, I think, to be honest.
He's had a fantastic year for Swansea as well. He's got contributed a lot of attacking positions, like 5 goals and 7 assists for a right back. I mean, you could probably have more creative right backs, but he's just so good going forward. He's an absolute engine on him as well.
He's a carpenter, apparently. You know, he's a carpenter.
Is he actually? I love that.
Yeah, he's got a little wood shop at home. And that. But the one thing I said this after the Switzerland game to use as well. He's poor on set pieces, Connor Roberts.
Yeah. Is he actually? Oh no.
Oh yeah. I mean, the goal. The Switzerland game. The Switzerland goal. It was his man. When we played against Belgium, he fell over from a corner. It's a recurring theme. He falls.
I think it's strange they had him man marking Ebola from the corners. Though you'd want one of your 2 centre backs or bring Kiefer Moore back to mark the other striker. Like, you know,
and the few times
like a 5'7" right, 5'7", 5'8" right back up against someone who's half decent in the air, you're going to concede 5 times out of 10.
I mean, he played out of his skin, didn't he? But again, like any free header that came from set pieces, it was coming from whoever Connor Roberts was marking. I can see teams really targeting us for that. You know, I don't want to dish him or anything. I thought he played incredible, but I think there is a weakness for Wales. It's from set pieces, and it's whoever Connor Roberts is marking. I've noticed now that people are doubling up with him. I saw Kiefer Moore doubling up with Connor Roberts for his man and stuff. So at least it looks like we're aware of it, but we'll see if other teams sort of work that out as well.
And where do you think the goals can come from, like in the next game? And also, where do you see Wales? Let's say, obviously, Lewis might not thank me for this, but let's say you do go through second or third, whatever. Like,
we want second.
Second, let's say second, a strong second. Where do you see it going from there?
Well, everything's a bonus from there, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, you're just happy, right? You're just going to be.
That's what it's about.
We get a favourable matchup if we go through in second place. So it's the second place team out of the Belgium group. So that's
going to be Russia, Finland, or
Russia.
Denmark.
Yeah, that's decent.
I think it's
probably Russia at this point.
Yeah, and if we finish third, then we're coming up against someone who's first,
and probably our best performance.
Second.
Probably one of the best performances in recent years as well was that group game in 2016 against Russia. You know, it was a bit like the Turkey game on yesterday evening. Like it was.
I watched Russia. I watched Russia yesterday and the previous one. I mean, they won against Finland yesterday, but shocking team. Like literally, Wales. If you play like you did yesterday, it's no match. It's going to be a comfortable win, but nothing is really.
I was looking as well for the next round where we'd be and stuff, and so the way it works is if we win the group, we go to Wembley. So if Italy win the group, they're playing in Wembley.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
And what else is it? If we come second, it's Amsterdam, and if we come third, it's either Bucharest,
Sevilla.
Or Sevilla. Yeah. So I kind of hope we come third. To be honest, I just pop on the train.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely would love. I'd absolutely love to get Russia in the under 16. That would.
That would be sweet.
That'd be really, really good. But
not sure what the route through after that is, but quarter final and a semi final the year before that, you can't really flap that achievement for a nation of 3 million people, can you?
Oh God,
yeah. Is it 3 million? Oh, okay.
I'll be honest. I think if we come second, I know I keep going on about second place. It's mad, isn't it? You won't believe I've said second place. I think if we finish second, we'll go to the quarters. Because I don't think anyone... Well, I would have said Denmark if they had Ericsson. But I think we're better than Russia and Finland.
Beat Finland
Beat Finland
fairly recently in
yeah.
the Nations
I
League.
think we're
Was it
better.
qualifiers?
Nico Williams, isn't it?
That would
And
be a
Denmark
good-
as well. They were in the previous Nations League group, and you
Yeah,
know
I
they're
went-
missing Ericsson. They're going to struggle without him, unfortunately.
Denmark have been
aren't they?
unlucky, haven't they? It's just like
Yeah.
been a
Just
because
so it's
they would have won that. They would have won the Finland game for sure.
They were your dark horses.
They
were,
were,
Denmark,
yeah.
They were. I did say Denmark, and then that happened. And
I mean,
Yeah.
even still, I mean,
that thing can't do anything about it.
against Belgium, you were saying I didn't see the game, but you guys were saying they proper gave it one, didn't they?
Yeah, they scored within 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And the first half, from what I saw, I missed about 10 minutes later on. They were just on fire. Like they looked brilliant. And then obviously De Bruyne has come on, and that's just changed everything.
Right.
It's just like one.
But Belgium, are obviously number one ranked team in FIFA, whatever. But that means nothing. Like they're not going to win it. Like they could if they, but I don't back them really. Like they've got amazing players, but
Professional chokers, aren't they? They've choked.
Yeah,
every
but
time.
literally, yeah, because they should be more comfortable winning games, and they're never really comfortable winning games. And they do win games, but you're going to come up like a proper team at some point.
And we've got their fucking number as well. We've got Belgium's number. Like, you know, we had them in the quarters. We had them in the group. You know.
Yeah.
They beat us the other day in the friendly, but it's a friendly. But it's nothing. We've properly got Belgium's number. Our backers every time against Belgium. You know. I think we were the nation with the best win percentage against Belgium.
We're the side with the best recent record
yeah.
against them. It's
but also the team with the best win percentage in Euros history. 64% win percentage we have in the Euros.
Seriously, that's decent.
Probably because it's our only one.
Yeah, it's a smaller sample, isn't it? But that's a beautiful thing about statistics.
Forget the second bit. Just focus on the first bit.
Yeah. Quick question here. This has just popped into my head. When was it? I know last time I had the bar incident, but one that's just come into my head. You mentioned the Austria game, mine. Was that the time you guys just rang me, like randomly?
No, that was a rugby. That
was a
South it's a rugby.
Game,
Apologies. Yeah, because here I'll share a little story, Ali, and for the listeners. Basically, I don't know what you two were doing. I was in university in Cardiff, Met. Basically, I remember walking back from my university campus back to my flat, and on the way down, I'm getting this phone call. I look, and it's Martin. Martin never rings me. He never rings me unless there's something important. So I was like, oh, there you go. What's going on here? So I ring up and I'm speaking to him. He's just like, oh, yeah, how are you doing? All this, that, and the other. We're in Cardiff. We need a place to stay. Can we stay at yours? No explanation, no nothing. We're in Cardiff. Can we stay at yours? Luckily, I had room for them and I didn't plan anything that night. But yeah, these two totally forgot to get in touch with me. They had weeks in advance. And basically just like sort of said, please sir, can we come in? But yeah,
truthfully, mate, I think it was more of a case of where are you? Oh yeah, we're crashing on your floor then.
Yeah, but you totally forgot to get in touch with me, and I'm there just like, it's a good thing I don't have anything planned.
To be fair, I think you're exaggerating slightly. I think I got stuck because I was driving at this point. I think I got Sam to ring you when we were just going through the tunnel by Newport. So, you know, we gave you about half an hour heads up. Like, what more do you want?
I thought you were in Cardiff.
Not quite. You were in Cardiff. Quite.
We'd had a
I don't think so. I can't. It's, yeah, we'd been to a gig the night before in Manchester, hadn't we? And then we'd driven back to Leeds. got up at 4 a.m. or something like that to drive down to Cardiff because it was like was it a 2:00 start for the rugby or like 3:00? Something fairly early in the afternoon. So yeah,
that was a rough one.
There was a coach load of Newcastle fans going down to a Chelsea game. I think they had the 12:30 kickoff. We were thinking, oh no other mug's going to be up at this time and get off at the services to get a Mackey's breakfast and boatload the Geordies coming off to do the same thing. Like,
fair play to you though, Martin. Fair play, because I don't drive either, do I? So you had literally driven from Leeds to Manchester, Manchester to Leeds, got like 3 hours kip. I've gone Leeds to Cardiff, stayed on the floor in Cardiff.
Kept on the floor and then driven back.
I love the fact as well.
It's got to be done. It's got to be done.
Sam just asked Martin, you have asked Lewis if we can stay in his room, haven't you? That's when you realised you went, no, we haven't, lads. Just show up and I'll show up.
So I thought I did, but I realised now that I didn't. So do you want to call him, actually? Use my phone for the inconvenience of it.
Brilliant story.
Let's nail down some predictions for this Italy game then. What are we thinking for scorelines?
Do you want me to be starting off?
If you've got something written down, go for it.
I have got something written down. I know Sam's going to call me boring. 1-1.
1-0.
There's a draw. I'm going.
Have you predicted that for every single game this tournament?
No, I said 2-1.
You didn't give me one for the Turkey game.
Yeah, but I did on my
never responded to that message. Well, you never responded to a message. It doesn't count. There's no evidence of that.
I'm gonna say 3-1 Italy.
What are you thinking, Ali?
Sorry, guys, I just missed you there for that. I heard Lewis's prediction. I didn't hear Sam's.
I say 3-1 Italy. I think Italy will score. No, I think we'll go 1-up. Actually, we seem to do this against big teams. We go 1-up and can't hold it. We did it against Belgium recently. We were threatening for it with France. I think we'll start really, really well, and I think Italy will eventually just pin us back, and it will turn into a similar sort of performance to the Switzerland game. And I think they'll just have too much for us. So, but I'm going to love every minute of it either way. I think we're going to give a good account of ourselves. But I fancy Italy for the tournament, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. I'll say 2-1 to Italy myself. I wouldn't be too surprised if Page changed one or two players with Kiefer Moore being on a yellow, like maybe Ampadu and Nico Williams needing a bit of match fitness in the legs or something. But
this is mental.
I wouldn't mind seeing someone like Harry Wilson or David Brooks get a run out because they've sort of featured off the bench. But apart from that,
has Lewis really predicted a more positive result than we have?
Yes.
Jesus Christ!
What's going on?
And pigs did fly.
It's bad to see. I just couldn't go against Wales. I remember because in work we've got a Euro staff predictor, and I was looking at the results. I was just like, I don't have it in me to type Italy win. I had to go and just went. I don't care about points. 1-1. But to be fair, it's like I was saying before. If Italy change something and we don't, and we go for it, why not?
Why not?
Respect your confidence, I have to say.
It's been a long time coming.
Did you get Ali's prediction?
Yeah, go on, Ali.
No, have you got a scoreline for us, Ali? What are you thinking?
I'll go with 2-0. Won't specify who. Yeah.
Fair play. 1,000 minutes.
I just on the back of Italy being so good defensively. Obviously, without Chiellini might change, but I'll still stick with the 2-0 clean sheet.
Fine. Hey, lads, I've got a bit of trivia, right? I've got a bit of trivia.
You
ready? No.
We said we didn't have any trivia questions.
Well, but I think Sam was eating a sandwich and messing about while we were discussing the adult stuff.
I was eating my sandwich. I was on Wikipedia.
We've always got to have some trivia questions. I thought we didn't have any.
Is that what I'm eating Asani's code for? You trying to upstage your ass there? So.
That's it. That's exactly it. Yeah.
Go on then.
Frick.
So these knobheads aren't thought of nothing. I know it. So only 3 Welsh players have ever played in Serie A. Can you name them?
John Charles, Aaron Ramsey.
John Charles,
Ian
Aaron
Rush.
Ramsey. Nailed it. Wow, what that? Ian Rush.
Who did Rushy play for?
All for Juventus.
Juventus.
Yeah.
That's the only one I knew, apart from Aaron Ramsey.
There you are. I think John Charles is a big one, isn't he? Gentle Giant.
So I actually didn't know the third one, so I didn't get that one completely. Who's John Charles?
So John Charles is this lad from Swansea who played in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, he was at the 1950 World Cup, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he was huge. He was a big man. He started as a defender, sort of went his way up, and he ended up as an attacker. And he was the best player in the world at one point.
Seriously, I need to YouTube this guy. Okay, cool.
He's really, really famous still and really popular still with the Juventus fans. I'm not going to bother trying to.
I hate Juventus. Probably the right
there's a training centre in Leeds named after him as well, isn't it? John Charles Academy.
One of the stands as well, so John Charles stand.
Yeah.
He was called the Gentle Giant because he was like bloody 6 foot, God knows how much, and he never got a yellow card. He was never booked in his whole career.
Nice.
How did that happen? Yeah.
Great record to have that, isn't it?
I mean, I think nowadays that wouldn't be possible, would it? I mean,
Oh,
you get
no.
up to like
Just finger poke someone who gets
just turn up at the
go
match.
down like
Just
they've been
turn up,
shot.
yeah.
Just need to wink the wrong way, you know.
Yeah.
But
Drink the bottle of water the wrong way. Yeah.
I thought Ian Rush would be the obscure one, but you got that like that, Ali. So nice one.
I don't know. It's just something I remember. I don't know why, but yeah. So obviously,
I don't know much about Ian Rush's time in Italy. John Charles, yeah, and Ramsey, yeah, but Ian Rush, who was probably, for me personally, like one of my favourite Wales players ever. You know, I actually don't know that much about his time in Italy.
No, me neither. To be honest, that's as much as I know. That he was in Italy.
Something to look up. But there you go. Yeah. Ali has shown you up, lads.
That was a nice bit of trivia as well, I have to say.
That was decent. I like that. John Charles. I looked this up.
That's what. Yeah, man. Honestly, like one of the best players in the world at his time. Because he was the one that played before Euro 2016, the only tournament we'd ever qualified for properly. I mean, 76 is a bit contentious, isn't it? But 1958 World Cup in Sweden, I think it was, and John Charles basically dragged them up all the way through it, and then we lost against Brazil in the semis, I want to say, because John Charles
final, I think, but he wasn't playing that game, was he?
He got injured, I believe, or something like this. Yeah, because the Welsh team was just ridiculous. Apparently, we were like, you know, there's no professionalism in it at all, as you could probably imagine, because it was still the same in the bloody early 2000s, you know. But,
do you remember on that Ellis James documentary, they were saying they left like 3 players at home that they didn't take on the plane because they wanted to leave the seats available for the wives of the FAW board members to come over with them instead, which is... Could you imagine something like that nowadays? I think sometimes they... I think you could only name like the 3 subs on the bet. So I think for some games we maybe didn't even have a full quota of players available. Maybe had like 2 substitutes. Or I remember hearing something like that. But we took a skeleton crew to a World Cup, and sort of injuries caught up with us. And as well, if your first World Cup you get knocked out by a 17-year-old like called Pele, there's not really much you can do about that, is there? We announced Pele on the world stage. That's another little claim to fame for Wales, I can say.
There you go.
Well, anyone got any final thoughts on the Turkey game? Who was the best performer? Let's go around the room.
Got to be Ramsey for me. I mean, Gareth Bale set both the goals up, but I think Ramsey could have had a bloody handful of goals, couldn't he? Oh, yeah. In the first 20 minutes, he could have bagged the hat trick. I thought it was everywhere. And for me, the thing that summed up his performance so much was when he got back and he made that sliding tackle, and in the box. That was just unbelievable. You're looking at that and this is a lad who's willing to die for it. And unbelievable. I thought all of it. I know just those cute little runs, those, dip the shot, the way he tricks and gets in behind the last man is unbelievable. I think, like we were talking the other day, weren't we? We were saying, the first goal that we scored in the Euros this year was Morel to Kiefer Moore, which is Luton Town to Cardiff City. And this time, Real Madrid to Juventus. Wales is just absolutely mental.
Yeah. And then Real Madrid to Swansea City straight after that.
Yeah. So there you are. So it's just a madness, isn't it? But I think Ramsey, for me, just worked his socks off. He did everything, and he could have got more. And long may it can continue, because when Ramsey plays well, we win. Simple as that.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I missed the first half because of work. Which sadly seemed that most of it. There's nothing you can do, okay? I got a cafe.
Does that sound a bit casual to you, Sam?
I moved heaven and bloody earth. I did, mate.
I don't know what you just said, but yeah. Didn't come through my connection well. If I'm honest, I'd probably go for Gareth Bale from what I saw. I think that the ending showed how desirable he was willing to go forward and try and produce what he can. We thought, stick the ball in the corner. Nope. Let's go and try and get another one. And we did. I'm not just giving him for that. But throughout the game, like you said, the first goal is an absolute superb ball.
Yeah.
Ramsey's made a brilliant run. And Bale's just gone, bing, straight to him. I think that sort of class.
To quote Robbie Savage, if Messi does that, we're talking about it for
years to come.
Yeah, that's true.
But for me, Gareth Bale, I think the 2 assists sort of say, well, provide the evidence for me,
Mate,
if you like.
just the balls as well.
Yeah.
I can't get over it still. Like in the 89th minute, winning 1-0 to just like to dribble from the corner like that. It's just ridiculous.
Well, we were screaming in the pub,
choice.
keep it in the corner. What are you doing? You can't be, run the clock out, and then he sort of just catches everyone out, squares it across, and
when he did
Connor
it,
Roberts gets his first international goal. You can see how much that meant to him as well. That was amazing.
when he did it though, I was like, the first time he did it, I looked and I was like, they seem very open there.
It was
Like,
so
fair enough.
yeah.
Like, if it was open, go for it.
I don't
And
think
then
that
the
was his
second
first
time I thought,
international goal, was
I'm
it?
not going to make the same mistake. Oh, hello.
Oh, yeah.
Here he is. Goal.
Yeah. It was unreal. It was just unbelievable. That is the sign of a genius. As far as I'm concerned, that was pure genius. I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah, I'd go for Bale as well, just because he did everything. Like, he missed the penalty, but he also won the penalty.
Yeah.
Like, he just runs at players and he makes the right decisions when he's on form. Yeah, just those balls to Aaron Ramsey, and then obviously the last little two. Yeah, runs down the line.
I think it just goes to show that, because people are always questioning Bale's mentality at Real Madrid and everything like that. But he's a mentality giant. He missed that penalty. He very nearly bloody scored from blocking the back pass half a second later.
Yeah.
That's one of them, isn't it?
He switched on straight away. You could see it. Like, he gave himself like 5 seconds of like disappointment and then back into it.
Yeah,
and that's hard to do. Yeah,
so it's just a
With
giant
pressure.
thing,
like on Gareth Bale, there's so much pressure on him. Yeah.
What about you, Martini?
I was going to say, I'm going to, how much I love Aaron Ramsey, but I'm going to have to agree with the common consensus, like Gareth Bale, for a player that before the tournament, you've got all the BBC pundits and all the Sky pundits saying, he's going to be looking at retiring, and I think he might be past it this tournament. He's nowhere near what he used to be when he was at Madrid. And I've said before, he played half a season for Spurs, had some of the best goal to minutes stats in the league by a country mile. He's just, he's getting older. He might be losing a yard of pace, but I don't really see it, to be honest with you. He's a world-class elite talent, and he's always going to turn a game like that when it's sort of on a knife edge and he can get you over the line, Great. He really makes a side tick. He was just driving for, exactly. But like, even for Madrid, you see him they don't talk about it, but you'd see him sort of spray these 40-yard balls into Ronaldo and Benzema and put in the, he's just got that vision. And when you've got a player like Ramsey who can make those runs from deep, like he did for Arsenal for years, I don't really know how he's been doing at Juve, to be honest. I haven't been following him that much, but he does the same for us. He always crops up sort of. Remember that goal that we all thought Kiefer Moore scored, and it turned out it was Ramsey.
Yeah,
there's that much of a bullet header. Yeah.
Well, sorry, which one was this?
Is it the
Hungary game?
Azerbaijan?
No, Hungary.
It was one of the qualifiers. Oh, Hungary.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I've not
so
seen it.
The crowd started singing Kiefer Moore's name, didn't they? Because sort of nutted in the header from a corner. And
the thing with the Hungary game is he'd been out. He hadn't played a single game in the qualifying tournament. It was the last game, must win against Hungary, and he scores 2 goals. And one of the goals was a header. And he gets so high in the air, they say it could only be Kiefer Moore. It could only be the lad that's nearly bloody 7 foot in the team. It could only be him. But now with Aaron Ramsey, it's just mental. So he does this, Ramsey, doesn't he? He just pops up and he just...
Yeah, he's got quality.
Oh, big time. You don't go to Juventus for nothing, do you? They don't buy...
No, absolutely. Yeah.
So there you go.
That's why we were all screaming at Arsenal for letting his contract expire. But let's really please not bring that up, even though it's me that said it. This has been very good anyway. I think that wraps us up for today, doesn't it? I mean, unless anyone's got any hangover thoughts they want to put forward. I think it's only me that's really nursing one. You, the rest of you are quite sensible.
Yeah, I'll say good
Wednesday
luck
night.
I'm going to be looking forward to this game.
Thank you very much for coming on as well, Ali. It's lovely
Thank you very much for having me.
And
it's been really
as
good,
Lewis
guys.
said, all the best to Italy for the best rest of the tournament.
And to Wales. I'll be watching Wales more actually, because they were really exciting yesterday. So definitely watch them.
I've been looking forward to watching your boys as well.